What's up, everybody? This is Dustin Coyle, and you are tuned in to Intelligent Thoughts, the daily wager for, what are we looking at? Thursday, April 27th, 2017. How's everybody doing? It's a dark-ass day here in Boise. Kind of a chill-ass morning, though. Just enjoying it. Have work a little bit later. Done pretty well the last few days in the NBA. Let's take a recap on what happened last night. Both games actually pretty close. The first game, Washington beats Atlanta in Washington, 103-99. John Wall has 20 points, 14 assists, including the game basically clinching jump shot at the very end to go up by 4. Let's see, who else? Bradley Beal, 27 points for him, 1 for 9 from downtown, unfortunately. All as well there. 17 points for Otto Porter. Bogdanovich, 14. Just 5 for Gortat. He played pretty poorly. 1 for 6 from the field. 10 rebounds, so he was definitely physical there. And didn't have a single point until late in the third quarter. For Atlanta, Dennis Schroeder, he fucking destroyed. 29 points and 11 assists for him. 5 for 6 from downtown. Looked extremely, extremely comfortable in the game. Looked like he was the best player for either team probably for the majority of the game. Millsap 21-11 in the loss. Wizards up 3-2. They go back to Atlanta. I think that they play tomorrow night. And then Boston beats Chicago at home, 108-97. The Celtics outscore the Bulls 29-16 in the fourth quarter. They were down by 2 going into the fourth, and they end up winning by 11 points. For Boston, 24 points for Isaiah Thomas, a pretty rough shooting night, 6 for 17, but 11 for 11 from the stripe, 1 for 10 from downtown. Pretty poor shooting night, really, overall for the Celtics. Avery Bradley with 24 points as well. Al Horford with 21. For Chicago, again, playing without Rajon Rondo, they get 26 points, 11 rebounds, 8 assists from Dwayne Wade. Really a really exceptional game from Dwayne Wade, classic playoff performer. Jimmy Butler, only 14 points, 8 rebounds, 6 assists in 39 minutes. Got to get more from Butler in order to be successful there. Isaiah Cannon played actually really well. Stat line doesn't show as much, 13 points only, no assists, but he was all over the place. He actually seemed like he played really well. Boston up 3-2, going back to Chicago. I don't know. Let's see, they play Friday as well. So that'll be an interesting series there. Both teams have the ability to clinch on the other team's home court in Game 6s, which takes us to today, where that's going to be the case for both of these games as well. The first game we have the Toronto Raptors up 3-2, going back to Milwaukee with the chance to end the series here. Chris Middleton was sick yesterday. It looks like he is going to play. Jason Kidd said it was pretty much just precautionary as far as making him feel okay and ready to go in the game today. Milwaukee has struggled pretty significantly, though, in the last 3 games. I don't know. Or was it the last 2 games? Yeah, just the last 2 games. The key to this game, in my opinion, is going to be Kyle Lowry. He's, as I've talked about on this program over the past week or so, he has been pretty back and forth with his scoring averages. I don't remember. I know it was up at around high 20s and then down at 10 or 7 or something like that in losses, high 20s in wins. It's got to be in the high 20s tonight. I think that they do. I like Toronto slightly in this. I give them like a 60-40 edge. I think that their experience, and they have just kind of maybe figured out Milwaukee a little bit, the way to play Milwaukee. Obviously, spread the floor, take good jump shooting, just because of how long Milwaukee is and how they kind of just swarmed them defensively in the first couple of games of the series. 3 games of the series, really. I like what they've been doing when they've been playing small ball the last couple of games, and it really seems to eliminate most of the defensive pressure for Milwaukee here. I like it. I expect Kyle Lowry to play really well. He should have a pretty significant advantage in the point guard department here. We'll see if Brogdon's able to keep up, though. It'll be an interesting game. Definitely a close. I mean, it's definitely close as fuck. This will come down to the wire, most likely. Let's take a look at the spread. All right. The Bucks are favored by 1. So they were favored by 2 earlier this morning. I guess money is coming in on Toronto, and there's no money line for it. So they just want you to play either the +1 or the -1. And you pay the juice for both of them. Which is weird, too, actually, because that doesn't make any sense if you want Milwaukee. But I kind of like Toronto +1. I think that it's fair. They're definitely going to win one of the last 2 games. Toronto's not going to lose this series. I can pretty assuredly guarantee, at least myself, that at this point. Right here at these even odds, I go ahead and take Toronto +1. Even if they lose by 1, you get a push out of it, which is pretty fucking unlikely and not that valuable at the end of the day. But I'll take it. Toronto +1 at Milwaukee. That game is going to be, I guess I should have said this, 5 o'clock Mountain Time, as always, on TNT. And 7:30, the only other game of the evening on TNT as well. We have another team trying to close it out on the road, Game 6. The perennial champion San Antonio Spurs at the Memphis Grizzlies. Memphis played pretty damn well games 3 and 4. Just got destroyed games 1 and 2. Played pretty well the other night as also. Let's take a look at what was that score? 116-103. But it was actually closer than that. It took quite a bit at the end it was like a run, like a 10-point run, I think, at the end for San Antonio to blow that out like that. Today, what's going on here? We have a situation in which the home team has won all 9 meetings between these two teams this year, all 4 in the regular season and all 5 here in round 1. Obviously bodes well for Memphis. Memphis is a really good underrated home crowd. They're a really good home team. They're an underrated team in general, but really underrated how into basketball Memphis is and how loud it is. I've never been there, but you know what I mean? I've heard this talked about more than once that Memphis is a pretty rough place to go play basketball. The Spurs, if anybody's going to do it other than LeBron or the Warriors, you'd expect, maybe even more so, you'd expect it to be the Spurs. Conley balled it up in the last game, says we're treating every game like it's a game 7. Expect to come back to San Antonio. That's their mindset. He is averaging 27.3 points, 7.5 assists over the last 4 games. Stepping it up. One of the most underrated players in the NBA. I talked about this a few months ago, like on the NBA Weekly, when the Grizzlies were hot. I think he's the most underrated player. He's never made an All-Star game. He is truly go look at some of his plays. Go look at the plays he made just last game, just in even the loss in Game 5. Super, super underrated player there. He'll obviously have to have a monster game to win this one. Another 28-8 type of a performance or something like that. Again, Kawhi Leonard looks like goddamn Michael Jordan right now. I mean, he's just taking fadeaway jump shots. He's just getting the ball literally. He's not an incredible skill set of moves, even the way that Conley has. He's just getting to a spot and just hitting jumpers like a goddamn legend. They're going to have to stop him if they want to win this game as well. And then for San Antonio, obviously they're going to have to get some help from other people. Patty Mills had 20 the other day, and I think that LaMarcus had quite a few. LaMarcus is going to have a big game against the big guys of Memphis here in this game. Otherwise, that's kind of how Marc Gasol and Zach Randolph were the instigators of the 2 victories in Memphis earlier in this series. And LaMarcus is going to have to at least negate one of those people, considering he's higher paid than both of them and all this shit, and more sought after than both of them. You would expect him to be able to handle at least one. Ginobili played really good, 10 points actually only on Tuesday, so that's not a ton. But I think 8 of them were in the first quarter. He was 0 for 15 and 0 for 10 from 3 in the first 4 games of the series, so definitely a horrible series for him. Good to get him going a little bit. If they do that, it's going to be tough for him. You guys can tell where I'm leaning here. Let's take a look at the spread. Everybody else is feeling me too. San Antonio -5 Damn, San Antonio minus 205. That sucks. Last night they were a minus 175, and I was actually going to wait. I thought people were going to bet on Memphis, so I was actually going to wait for that to drop in order to bet some dough on them. So today we're getting a 25, a little worse than 25% worse return on our money. But I think that San Antonio closes it out here in Game 6 tonight. I think that Popovich, I don't know. I just think that it all kind of works out for them in general today. I really, really like Kawhi Leonard in this situation. I really like at least one of the old dudes to step up in this situation. A Tony Parker, maybe a Manu Ginobili, and then I expect a Patty Mills also or something like that. So give me minus 205, the San Antonio Spurs. And if I had to only pick one of these games, I would pick the Spurs. The sketchier game is obviously going to be the one that's a 1-point spread, Toronto at Milwaukee. The Spurs, I feel like it took so much from the Grizzlies just to win by 2 points in Game 4. I do not see that being, I don't know. And it took so much for them the other day just to lose by 13 at the end. And that's why where that run came from at the end too. It was like they had just given so much and then eventually couldn't do it anymore. And at the end of the fourth quarter, they give up a 10-point run, which seals not only the game but probably really the series for San Antonio. And I don't see that. It's going to take just a hell of amount of energy for them to win this game. I don't see it happening. So. Let's ride and die with San Antonio, eh? All right. What else is interesting with the gambling world today? There is the NFL draft going on today. And for the first time ever, the NFL draft is legal to bet on, which is interesting. A few of the things, I'm not super sure how I feel about these. A few of the interesting things, though. My first player, or the player to get picked first, Myles Garrett, right now is a minus 350. Yesterday he was a minus 1,000, so a massive favorite. A lot of rumors are saying Trubisky may be going first, so a lot of it is going that direction. See Trubisky a minus 800 on first quarterback to be selected. I think Deshaun Watson's like a plus 650 or something like that. What else? Leonard Fournette, over under 4.5. It's an interesting pick there. Probably take the over. Christian McCaffrey, over under 8.5. Interesting there. Probably take the over also. I think Deshaun Watson, over under 12.5. Interesting there. So a lot of interesting little picks. How many quarterbacks going in the first round? Looks like 3 right now. Could it be 4? Deshaun Kaiser looking up. I don't really know how to go about any of this as far as the gambling is concerned, though. It's too difficult to predict, honestly. It's just a guessing game. But sort of interesting to talk about. If anybody wants to go check it out, maybe there's a little something that other people know that I don't. All right. Well, this is the end of the show. Let's go. Let's get our picks in. Let's talk more NBA in a minute. I love you.